I won't stop till I hear him say,
Okay, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a multitude of things: the DXY strength, CBDC implementation, things that are going on in the news that aren't really being talked about by the mainstream media, the DXY strength in this current crypto rally that we've all recently just experienced. If you all didn't see the previous video breakdown on the YouTube channel where I gave you guys the analysis of an XRP trade breakdown that I gave to the CyberX students, calling out some bullish targets on XRP well in advance. This was yesterday during New York session. The first take profit targets of 40 cents have now initially been hit, sending those targets out to the CyberX students well in advance. That was absolutely phenomenal to see today. But what I really want to focus your attention on is a tweet that I put out to you all just a couple of hours ago, talking about the importance of doing your own crypto research. And I'm going to show you that in today's video breakdown. So if these video breakdowns help you all out in some way, shape, or form, we ask that you smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. We do appreciate it. So before we get into that, we've seen an uptick in US dollar strength today during the London session and New York session overlap. Now we're heading into Asia session currently as I'm recording this video. But this article from fxstreet.com reads, US dollar strength continues amid resilient American economy. Now this was interesting because at the same time, the DXY was appreciating in value, so was the cryptocurrency space. And I'm going to show you that in today's video. So this article reads, the US dollar remained strong on Wednesday, with demand for the greenback easing ahead of Wall Street's close as stocks bounced from their intraday lows. The greenback benefited from renewed concerns about the continued U.S. Federal Reserve monetary tightening, spurring risk aversion. As American inflation eased just modestly in January, hopes for a Fed's pivot faded. The United States published retail sales on Wednesday, which surged by 3% month over month in January, much better than anticipated. The figure provided fresh impetus to the U.S. dollar and kept stock markets on the back foot. That was not the case for the cryptocurrency market space, right? So taking your attention over here to this tweet real fast, reading it to you again. If you all don't follow me on Twitter, take it upon yourself. Link is in the description down below. I said, why is it important to do your own crypto research? I'm going to show you right now by reading a fundamental and then comparing it to current price action on specifically Bitcoin. Majority of news fundamentals and influencers create their content off of opinions. Opinions, which form the basis of most so-called thinking, generally are not reliable, and often they may be very dangerous because they are frequently based on biases, prejudice, intolerance, guesswork, hearsay evidence, or outright ignorance. Now, let me show you what it is that I'm talking about. This article came out. This is the top article on the dailyhuddle.com, and it reads, Bitcoin flashing August 2022 vibes, setting up for downside continuation. Now, the Daily Huddle has a history of pulling fundamentals and making these articles based off of Twitter influencers that have a high Twitter count. I've been telling you all for quite some time on the CyPRX platforms not to follow influencers just because they have a high following count. This article reads, popular crypto analyst thinks Bitcoin could be mirroring its August 2022 price action when the king crypto lost nearly 20% of its value. Goes on to say that this specific YouTube influencer told his 45,000 YouTube followers that after Bitcoin failing to take out resistance at 24,000 could potentially see a crash, and he displayed this chart analytics to all of his followers. Well, I mean, look at this. He literally said to his followers that Bitcoin is having a hard time breaking 24,000. And meanwhile, as we go along, Bitcoin has just now surpassed 24,000, currently operating at $24,100. This gentleman's analysis, obviously, of course, was incorrect, again, which is why it is that I'm attempting to teach you all that you need to take it upon yourself to do your own research in the form of technical analysis, either by joining a mentorship of somebody that has credentials. Like, for example, here on the CyPRX channel, we've actually put our technical analysis on the line. Like I said, if you haven't watched the previous video breakdown on our YouTube channel, breaking down how we caught this XRP trade that we sent to the CyPRX students ahead of the curve, go check that out. Again, showing you guys that we actually know what it is that we're talking about in the form of logical, technical analysis. Following these influencers with the naked eye, just because they have a high following count, will get you wrecked in the market, right? Imagine everybody that short sold, here at this double top pattern, let's just call it that, is what I'm guessing that he was pointing out. just got recently wrecked because they followed this individual who told everybody that Bitcoin was going to decline by 20% because of some pattern, right? Again, institutionalized traders, they don't go off of retail-based patterns and Fibonacci sequences and trend lines and da-da-da-da-da. They don't care about any of that stuff. They care about liquidity in the market and where they can profit from the fastest by taking retail traders' positions out of the market. So that's my spiel for you all. Let's jump over to the charts real fast. I want to point something interesting out that I said to the CyberX students. I told them all that in the future, I have a firm belief that the cryptocurrency market in the form of utility-driven assets, this does not go for every single asset in this space because there are a lot of crap assets out there. I'm specifically talking about utility-driven assets. I have a firm belief will decouple from whatever global reserve currency is out there and we'll see a utility bull run. Now, something interesting that just happened in the crypto market, I have a couple of arrows on the charts and I have a split screen with Bitcoin on the left-hand side and the United States dollar on the right. I want to take your attention back to the 1st of February when the Federal Reserve rate hike came out and they raised rates 25 basis points. Here you can see on the United States dollar that caused a increase in the United States dollar strength, while at the same time on the left-hand side that caused a depreciation in Bitcoin. But something that just recently happened on the 13th, 14th, and now today, the 15th on Bitcoin and the United States dollar is we saw an appreciation on the United States dollar, while at the same time we see an appreciation on Bitcoin. That has rarely happened this year and last year. Every single time that the United States dollar has either gained strength, that means most of the time last year, and specifically talking about this year, Bitcoin in particular has lost its value. Now, something that happened today, again, like I'm pointing out to you all can see down here, February 14th and the 15th, the United States dollar, based off of this economic data that just came out, gained strength. At the same time, Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency market space gained strength as well. Question that you want to ask yourself again with the thesis that I'm implementing into not only my students, but to you all as well as my viewers is that one day, do you think, comment in the description down below, that utility-driven assets or maybe even Bitcoin, if you're a Bitcoin enthusiast, will decouple from whatever global reserve currency takes precedence and we will see a utility-driven bull run that has nothing to do with the macro and is specifically something to do with utility-driven assets or Bitcoin, whatever the case may be, being adopted by major institutions, hedge funds, and these key elite individuals that have massive amounts of money. Comment in the description down below your perspective on what's happening in the crypto market as of right now. Something interesting that I thought that I'd point out to you all. So moving on. Another thing that I want to bring to light is that the mainstream media is completely shutting this down. They're not talking about this at all. I have not seen one up-to-date article on this topic. And it is that hundreds of protesters marched through the streets. This just came out, I believe, started February 6th, or just a couple days ago. This specific post came out on the 7th of February. Marching through the streets of Amsterdam, protesters protesting against the launch of central bank digital currencies in the Netherlands. Protesters argued that the digital currency is a threat to their privacy. Now, I want to take your attention back to, this is another little tiny video. Like I said, I could not find any real mainstream media publications on this. This is, again, a private, news outlet right here where it's talking about these protests going on in the Netherlands right now. I want to take your attention to something that one of the CyPRX researchers, Robert, sent to the group a couple of months back in November, I believe it was, where we have the CEO of Rabobank, Barbara Borsma. I hope that I'm not butchering her name. This video is in Dutch. I will link it in the description down below. You guys can read the subtitles, where she's specifically talking about carbon credits and how the elites, the people with more money, will have the ability to purchase carbon credits when other individuals don't, just to sum this up, and how each and every single individual will be given a certain amount of carbon credits. And once those carbon credits are spent, you won't be able to do things like purchase certain items or travel, okay? So like I said, I'll link this in the description down below for you all to take it upon yourself to watch. But one of our individuals in the CyPRX research group wrote, and I'm going to display this for you all to kind of sum up what this video is about. Here's Rabobank right here, where it's talking about carbon credit tracking and whatnot. It talks about what is a carbon footprint. I've posted previous videos, not only on my Rumble page, but on the YouTube channel as well about this in past video breakdowns. But Robert goes on to say, What this video specifically talking about, the CEO of Robobank talks about, is a blockchain ledger combined with digital money can be used to keep track of every individual purchase in the video snippet that I posted 2 days ago about Barbara B. I'm just going to say that, CEO of Robobank, Carbon Bank, tells about people having a carbon wallet with fixed carbon credits. When your carbon credits are spent, you are stuck. The only option is to buy carbon credits from somebody else who wants to sell them because that person is not going to use them. I think that we will slowly move to a system in which carbon tracking first will be voluntary and later on enforced by governments using the technological capabilities of companies. And it goes on to say like Infuse and Robobank, right? Now, with that being said, I want to take your attention to a video real fast that I displayed on the YouTube channel months ago that came out. This is a video that says the Dutch government bill proposes monitoring all transactions over 100 euros. This is insane. And I highly advise that you all take it upon yourself to do further research on what's really going on behind the scenes. All at the same time, ask yourself, right? The fear, uncertainty, and doubt that's being infused into the market right now with all these SEC litigations and all these SEC lawsuits right now, all at the same time, while the DXY gains strength, the same time the cryptocurrency market, in a way, in the past 24 hours has decoupled from the United States dollar. I'm not saying this is going to continue or it has anything to do with the utility run at all. I'm just saying it's something interesting to pay attention to, is that 95% of the time, especially all last year, every single time the United States dollar increased in value, cryptocurrency or risk on assets decreased in value. Look further into it here at CyPRX on the platforms that we host. We're just attempting to bring light to individuals out there. Don't fall victim to reading these fundamental articles or following Twitter influencers that give you guys these invalid price predictions based off of retail methodologies, based off of the ideology that because the Federal Reserve is going to continue their rate hike cycle, that crypto is going to be bearish, blah, 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 blah. Do your own personal research and only invest with money that you're willing to lose. Also, in whatever jurisdiction, nation, or country that you reside in, take it upon yourself to look further into their CBDC implementations, on when their CBDC rollouts are coming into fruition, and if they have any restrictions on the amount of money that you can personally utilize in the form of monitoring your transactions. I would like to know in the description down below how many of our viewers are maybe potentially from the Netherlands that are experiencing any of this. So I'll go ahead and I'll play this for you all real fast. This is an article that came out to support this video. Dutch government seeks power to monitor all transactions over 100 euro. And it goes on to say the government assumes that there's a lot of money laundering, which is their whole spiel as to why they're potentially going to start, monitoring all citizens' transactions. They're using this whole money laundering spiel, that there's a lot of money laundering going on, and that's why they have to do this. We all know that that's not the case. And it goes on to say, or that they even finance terrorism. The risk is that law opens the door to unprecedented mass surveillance by banks. The proposed monitoring really goes too far. All your payment behavior will soon be collected centrally and monitored with algorithms. All your payment behavior will soon be collected centrally and monitored along with transactions of all other bank customers in the Netherlands. This poses risks to your privacy. Your payment data will show your whole business, for example, whether you spend money on a political party, religious institution, or psychologist. It's insane to think what's really going on behind the scenes. So I'll leave you all with this. As always, do your own personal research. I cannot stress enough that it will only behoove you to dig deeper into what's going on in the crypto space on your own time. Blessings to you all. Be cognizant, be aware of some things, food for thought to think of heading into this weekend. I appreciate the love and the support. Make sure that you smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll leave you guys with this video breakdown.
If you keep your money in the bank just for a rainy day, that might not be rain coming down, just the chairman of the bank urinating on your head from his office window. On this show a couple of months back, our pal, Leilani Dowding, went to her local branch to withdraw a modest sum under 500 quid and was asked by the bank clerk for what purpose she needed the money. Leilani being Leilani, she opened what I believe our American friends call a can of whoop-ass on the clerk. But the constraints on your use of your money are tightening around the world. The Dutch government has a new bill proposing to monitor all transactions over 100 euros. That's about 100 quid, or indeed $100. All Western currencies are mysteriously converging right now, almost as if in preparation for the introduction of the digital Klaus Schwab mark across the entire Western world. Eva Veladingerbroek, the least deranged Dutch person in the Netherlands, joins me. Can this really be true, Eva, that every single transaction over 100 euros is now going to be recorded and monitored by the state?
Well, if it's up to our Minister of Finance, Sigrid Kaag, that is exactly what is going to happen. Like you said, she wants to monitor every transaction that we spend. So that is basically everything nowadays. We all know that if you go to the grocery store, you end up buying 2 bags of groceries and that costs you 100 euros. So everything that you are spending your money on will be known then by the banks and will be centralized. This information will be centralized and collected into a database that will be accessible for them and the government, I think up to 5 years later. So imagine, that's not just your diet. They won't just know what you buy at the grocery store. They'll know your medical bill. So they'll have information basically into your medical file. They will know what political party you give money to. They will know what you spend your money on a Saturday night. They will know everything about you through the money that you spend. And obviously, you wonder why. Well, our government says we are doing this to combat money launderers. Well, in the society that I live in, I would like to assume that we live in a rule of law, that we have a liberal democracy where the government doesn't treat its own citizens as criminals and that the presumption of innocence exists. Well, this obviously turns that completely around. So there's a presumption of guilt. You are treated as a criminal, and only if the government sees that you don't behave like a criminal, they will let you go. And that's obviously also the way that they basically guilt trip people into doing this, because people who oppose this, they will say to, well, do you have something to hide?
I won't stop till I hear him say